Hey everybody, this is Cameron from Obnoxious and Anonymous, and I am here to do a live commentary for the Laura Palmer Twin Peaks fan film. With me today, we have the two filmmakers responsible for this fine film. We have Charly Gautier, who, of course, plays almost every major role in the film. And, of course, we have Coline Hurt.
Hello. Hi.
And it's so wonderful to have you guys here to join me for this wonderful experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
So before we start, I just want to say congratulations on the amazing response you got for this film. I mean, we did a video, right when it dropped, and you at that time didn't know what the response was going to be. You knew that there was interest, but you didn't know, that people were going to be so supportive. So how does that feel?
It's amazing, actually.
It's amazing. We did not expect anything like this. It's very, very amazing, and people in the community have been very supportive and everything. So, and we have a few dates. We're gonna be in have a showing of the movie in the Twin Peaks bar in Berlin and in Madrid, and I'm gonna do a masterclass of my acting in an acting school in Paris.
So an acting class. So the teacher saw this film and said, "You need to come over here right now and show us how you did this."
It's actually the director of the school that saw the movie, and so she asked me to meet her, and she asked me to do a masterclass, and I was like, well, okay, I don't know if I can do this, but sure, of course. And she was very nice, very supportive. So she asked me to talk about the character, how I played man, woman, how I learned English for the movie and everything. So I'm going to talk about it. It's very amazing. A dream come true.
I really do hope that Coline will film you doing this and upload it to your channel.
Yeah, well,
yes.
It's planned.
It's planned, yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say, don't deprive the rest of the world of your masterclass.
No, we won't.
All right, here we go. Let's count it down from 3, 2, and 1. Let's hit play.
Okay, it's starting.
Now, I love the fact that you have this disclaimer that this is a nonprofit, unofficial fan film that's not intended for commercial use. Characters were created by David Lynch and Mark Frost. There's been some controversy in the Twin Peaks community about fan films in general. So I was really happy you put that on there, because that kind of lets people know, hey, you know what? Making fan films is perfectly okay. Just like it is to make artwork inspired by Twin Peaks or dolls inspired by Twin Peaks. This is just a way of artists to express themselves. It's another way for artists to express themselves, and there's nothing, horrible about it.
No, it's all positivity and creativity, and give back to something that we like.
Right. Now, so this movie begins with the morgue light comes on, and we're introduced to Donna and James and Bobby. Okay, so why did you begin the film this way? Sort of like almost a police interrogation type of situation here.
I wanted the 4 characters, which are the 4 teenagers that are in the life of Laura. I wanted to have them sit and be very stripped of anything, just their face, because it's my face in 4 different characters. So I wanted it to be very clear and have their name, all in the information in a few minutes, just to be clear and be like, okay, what's their name, who they are, what's their purpose, and what they're going to talk about, to be very clear and very precise right at the beginning, and for the audience to be like, okay, it's the same actor playing 4 character.
Well, what's also nice about it, again, it's your face right on top of each other. And at this point in the film, you're already kind of giving yourself over to this concept that you're going to play every part, because I'm telling you, you're so different in every role that you completely forget that it's just one person.
And we wanted it to be right at the beginning, to be very quick and efficient. We wanted to be like, if the person watch 1 minute, they can first completely be deep down in our film, be like, okay, it's 4 character, 1 actor. Okay, we know what we're gonna get into.
Now we're seeing some exterior shots here of the town and the lake and stuff. Where is this filmed?
Well, this was actually shot in the French Pyrenees. A few other shots of the high school. That was in Nantes.
In Nantes with most of our friends, which are the same extra that we have in the movie. It's the same person every time, just with wigs, different clothes, and everything.
Now I love these like cutaway shots to Laura. There's like a shot here, you know, a look here, a glance there, and it kind of gives us feeling like this is people's memories of what happened. Now, I know we talked last time about that you shot like a 2.5-hour film that you cut down. Were these longer scenes that just got chopped down, or did you have it in your script to just have these cutaway memory glances?
I think the intro of the movie has always been like...
No, it was longer because the girl that Laura is walking in at the beginning, it's not me as Donna, it's another actress playing another character, and we had different things in the movie with her. We had to cut it down because it was too long, too descriptive, and it wasn't very interesting. It didn't have anything more in the movie, so we cut it down.
And here we have is Laura's mom painting.
Yeah.
Now, where did that come from? Because I don't remember Sarah Palmer ever painting in the series. So, what was your inspiration behind that?
I really wanted to do something a little different with Laura's mom, because when we saw the house of Laura, which was her friend's house, we asked them, well, can we borrow your house for this movie that we had? And they say, oh, you're great. Yes, of course. And when I saw the house, I remember I was like, well, I can't see the Sarah Palmer that we know in this house, but I was feeling more of an artist, mother artist, the painter. So I thought it would be interesting to transform a little the character and have her be an artist, and that she could, you know, take refuge, have a shelter for herself from the abuse of her husband and everything.
Well, that's why I like this film so much, because this is Twin Peaks. These are the characters of Twin Peaks, but you definitely made them your own. So like you were not afraid to take a little bit of liberty so that it fit better into the universe you were creating.
Yeah.
And I think it works out tremendously. Now here we have you playing Laura, Johnny, and Sylvia Horn.
And I also wanted with these two characters, as well as Sarah, be different than the original. I thought it would be very interesting to have Platinum Blonde Johnny, to have a little something different right at the beginning of the film, to be like, okay, we're going to do Twin Peaks. We have Audrey, Donna, James, and Bobby, and Laura look alike as the original cast, but I wanted some character to be our own, to be more of our own creations, but not the main characters.
Right. Well, this coming up here is where I started to really fall in love with your film, because I was really enjoying it when it was happening, or what I had seen so far. But when we get into what's coming up, the Audrey Laura scene, this is what I consider where your film becomes truly great, because what you're giving us here is something we've never seen. We have never had a Laura Audrey encounter on screen. And the fact that, and not only do you give it to us, you give it to us in a way that is completely consistent with Frost and Lynch's world. So I got to tell you, as someone who's a huge Twin Peaks fan, I thought I was watching the real thing.
Thank you so much.
And the fact that we talked about this last time, that you just made a film that you just happened to play most of the roles in, that it wasn't a gimmick for you. It was just the film you were making. So the fact that you have Audrey and Laura in the same scene, and then you do these wide shots where we get to see them both in the frame at the same time, that's when I thought, okay, this person, you are making this just a real film. You're not just, this isn't a vanity actor's piece. This is a real film. And I just think that this scene right here, if you're not on board with your film yet, this is the moment I feel like you've now pushed every fan into your world. And I've had so many people contact me saying, Charly did such a great job. Audrey was astounding. And I said, have you seen the interview that we did? Because Charly says that Audrey was one of the hardest characters to nail because you knew how important that character was. So let's talk about this scene. How important was this scene to you in getting right? Because I got to tell you, it's what kicks your film from like really good and intriguing to great.
And I remember because we had the script, but all the scene in our movie now, it wasn't in the same order. And I was like, we had to put the scene between Laura and Audrey at the beginning because for us, I remember for me, mostly when I was writing the film, it was really, really important to have Audrey and Laura in the same scene because for me, Laura is Fire Walk with Me and Audrey is Twin Peaks. And we never, as you said, we never saw them together. We never saw them speak. And I thought it would be very interesting because Audrey knew something was going on with Ben. She discovered later about the One-Eyed Jacks, and she was really involved in Laura. What was his last name? To discover that she was murdered. She was really involved in this situation. And I was like, when I was watching Twin Peaks, I was wondering why. And I felt that she had really some connection with Laura. And in this scene, I really wanted to show it that there were a connection on this level. And at the end, we saw Laura's picture on Benjamin Horne's desk, which we actually saw in the TV show as well. And I remember seeing this scene on Twin Peaks, and I was like, wouldn't it be great to conclude this scene like this, to have Audrey speaking, why my father has so much affection for you? And it's how I wrote this scene, actually. What the goal of the scene was to show that Audrey understands Laura, but she's not her friend. She's something else.
Well, they're kind of literally, like the giant says, one and the same. You have Laura pretending she's super innocent, but she's got all this stuff going on underneath. And then you have Audrey, who is a complete flirt, who throws it all out there, but is truly innocent.
Completely. And the dynamic of the character, I remember in my body playing them, it was completely on a different aspect. She was completely different. To have these two characters which are the same, but at the same time the opposite, it was really interesting. The dynamic of how they speak, the way she speaks, why they speak, what are their goals, what are they reaching for. It was really interesting to feel that, especially in one day when I was also playing Bobby, Sylvia, and Johnny.
Well, it just shows you that Twin Peaks goes beyond a TV show and becomes almost like literature in terms of character.
It's really well written.
Character creation. Now, here's this scene between Laura and Donna outside, and you choose to sort of reenact portions of the scene of Fire Walk with Me, with them discussing about nighttime is my time, and why. I love the choice. But why put the scene outside? Is it just to differentiate your film from Fire Walk with Me? Did you just see the garden and say this would be ideal? I mean, obviously it was a conscious choice to make it your own, but why the garden? Why not the living room?
Well, for me, Donna is a very positive, happy human being, and this scene is at her home, and for me it was obvious that I wanted flowers, beauty and sunlight, which is the opposite of Laura. She's reaching for the dark. So, and my conservatory had a few flowers, and it was very sunny. So I was like, we're going to do it. We're going to put all the flowers in it, create some
really colorful
visual. And the movie, I think, our film it's very sunny, very happy and bright at the beginning, and becoming more and more dark because at the end it's almost night scene. And I really wanted this scene to be very colorful, bright, and have this. And Donna is also, she has this sunny sundress, very, very short, very bright red. It's red, yes. And that was the goal of this scene, show something bright and happy and flowery.
Well, I love your characterization of Donna Hayward. I think it's just spot on without doing a Lara Flynn Boyle impersonation. I look at you and I go, that is Donna Hayward.
She was really hard because Audrey has some quirks and some stuff. Laura has a very big personality, but Donna is more more subtle, more shy, and it was really hard to have her be very clear and know, okay, it's Donna, but you know, she's very transparent. So sometimes she doesn't stand out a lot. So I really wanted to have this character being, you know, shy and subtle and not being too, what's the word? Being this character being too much, and so that was one of my most main fear about Donna, to make her very believable without being too much, being very subtle.
So here we have Laura shedding a tear. How do you get yourself psyched up to portray
Cry?
such emotion? Yeah.
Oh,
everybody has their own technique. So,
well, for me, the easiest part in acting is to cry. It's what I like. What I love about acting. I love crying. It's my thing. Well, actually, it's very easy. In Laura's head.
Look at this. We have Bobby here, and it looks like that he's been crying for hours, but just not showing it. So, I mean, what did you go into like a room and cry for 20 minutes and then come out and shoot that scene? Because I mean, that doesn't look like makeup. That looks like authentic method acting right there.
Well, all the tears that you can see are real, actually, because we shot the scene multiple times about James, and so it was the tears of the shot before. I never put fake tears on me. I remember we had a scene. It was very late. I was tired, and I couldn't cry. It was in the church, actually, in the movie, and there were people around me watching. Were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Okay." And Coline was like, you can do it. You can do it. So I was starting doing it. I remember I was putting myself in some place. I went into Laura's head, and all the emotion came, and I just let it out and everything. And I hate putting a fake emotion in my character. It's, for me, it's, if I don't feel it in my belly, in my body, in my brain, it's not true. It's not authentic. And I really want to portray something authentic and real.
I want to apologize because that I said Bobby was the character of James.
Yeah, James.
So here is Bobby talking to Laura. Now, I remember last time you told me that Bobby was actually the hardest character for you to play.
It was, yes. Very for me, playing this kind of, the way a man and a woman move, is completely different. The way a man and a woman talk is completely different. The dynamic of men and women are very complicated to understand. And for me, playing a woman is very easy. But a man, mostly a man like Bobby, which is very, you know, he doesn't move a lot. He's not very.
He's very manly.
He's very manly, yes. So
but yet he's not alpha male though. He's just kind of like, you know, like high school punk, like Albert says in the show. Get a life, punk. You know.
That was the goal.
Now, while you're doing this, we have Coline over here who's doing this wonderful cinematography, and I got to just say, one of the things that's so impressive, and you know, and you don't fall into any of these traps with this film. The eye lines are spot on, right? I mean, you would think that one actor playing multiple roles, that it would cause a problem. Now, did you guys just master this? You knew how to do this, and it just worked out perfectly. Did you have to cheat sometimes and flip a shot? You know, like, because it seems like you guys did just a masterful job
actually,
of it.
Every time we would like a shot, we would like take the time just to think and remember, okay, when how was the first character,
and rewatch the shot of the other character.
So every time we would take the time, because we didn't want in post-production to find ourselves in front of something like
and struggling there.
Would not match. So we just took the time every time, and we got.
And we had sometimes character that aren't the same height. Like at the end, James and Laura aren't the same height. So James is looking down, Laura is looking up, and we always were really aware of that because we wanted everything to be perfect.
Now, I mean, your film quality here is excellent. What kind of cameras were you shooting this on?
It was a Panasonic camera. It's like a semi-professional camera, mostly used for documentary. But it was like really easy to use in our way of shooting, like really quick and efficient. to record, so that's why
it looks like it handles low light pretty well.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it looks, and it's in 4K.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well,
I mean, because when I look on YouTube, it literally says uploaded in 4K. So, you know, that's why, I mean, it's just stunning.
Thank you.
Well, we actually chose 4K because sometimes we were afraid that we couldn't get enough shots. So shooting in 4K, it would like give us the liberty to maybe recrop some shots to diverse our shots in post production for the editing.
Right, because you could shoot a shot like this of Audrey, and if you wanted to punch in close for you know, an extra, you know, effectiveness, you wouldn't necessarily need to you know, focus again on another shot. You could literally punch in, and it would not sacrifice the quality.
We did it actually in the shot of the school at the beginning. We did that a lot because the shot we weren't happy about it, so we could crop it in post production, and it would be better and more real actually.
Now, I just want to say thank you for giving me a One-Eyed Jack sequence. This was something that I honestly thought was missing in Fire Walk with Me. I always talk about that throwaway line of, you know, I haven't seen you since I was kicked out of One-Eyed Jacks, or we haven't, you know, since we got kicked out of One-Eyed Jacks. I was always like, show, don't tell me, Lynch. I want to see Blackie throwing those two out, you know? So I was really happy you gave me this, because I think One-Eyed Jacks is sort of like a kind of, it's weird because people know about it, you know, but it's often forgotten about.
Yeah, and I think it's really, it represents the atmosphere of the show, the One-Eyed Jacks, I think.
Oh, especially since, I mean, even the walls of inside One-Eyed Jacks in the back rooms kind of matches the wallpaper that leads you know, in the you know, into that you know, in season 3 when they're going up the staircase and stuff like that with the woodsman. Now here you're playing just multiple roles again, and it's like it's funny because these are original characters here.
Madison and the other escorts are the original character. And
so what made you want to throw in like your own original characters too into the scene? Because you obviously could have picked other characters in One-Eyed Jacks that, you know, to have them mingle with Laura, but you chose original characters. So where did that come from?
I wanted to take a little liberty in creativity, and I thought it would be interesting to have my point of view on the whole situation. And also with this scene with Madison, I wanted to add a little comedic side, because I think after this scene it's pretty dark and pretty sad, so I really wanted to have a little light and funny moment, and I didn't find any funny characters in the One-Eyed Jack, so I thought I wrote Madison, and we thought it was funny, so we made it.
And where was this filmed? It looks like you're like inside a tent.
Well, it's actually an old dirty attic, which was in summer, 40 degrees Celsius. Yeah. It was very, very hot.
And we just built just the whole set with like
tissue, and
we put on fabric on walls to create really really warm atmosphere. Yeah, really.
Also with the colors, light and stuff. We really wanted to be very small and create an atmosphere with this scene.
A little bubble, actually.
Yeah, a little bubble. Yeah.
But it was all made up from ground to also.
It was one of the hardest part, because there is the shot where I appear as Blackie, Laura, and Madison, and they are on the same height. And I remember every scene in the One-Eyed Jacks was very complicated, and also the version of the One-Eyed Jacks that you see here is like 4 minutes something, but we had 11 minutes shot edited at the end, and we were like, okay, it's way too long.
Well, you're here on camera. You're here on camera playing 4 roles.
Yeah.
in one scene. It's astounding. But it's not just the fact that you're playing these roles. You're playing them well, but the whole film looks great. And so again, at this point, I don't think anybody's really noticing you playing these multiple roles. I think by now people have just kind of given into this film.
There's a person that told us, well, at first I was like confused because actors were really looking alike, but at the end I realized it was the same person. So it was very, very cool because
yeah,
that was the goal.
And I love the floral outfit that you gave Audrey here, because it really connects back again to the One-Eyed Jack's wallpaper, to, you know, the wallpaper in Laura's painting. So, you know, whether you meant it or not, the subconscious was working here.
And I also wanted Audrey to be very elegant and classy. And I don't know if anybody noticed, but every character in the interrogation scene, Audrey, Bobby, Donna, and everybody has a hint of red.
Yeah, that was the color.
That was the color. That was black and red,
yes.
because I thought Laura's dead, there's blood. So I really wanted a little, because I think they're all in their way guilty of Laura's death. So I really wanted to on them to have a little red, like a stain of blood.
So you're going off Bobby Briggs' statement in the at the funeral of, you want to know who killed Laura Palmer? We did. We all did.
Yeah, okay. Completely. And it was like, well, they're guilty. And for me, this 4 character was like, they're guilty. They know it. They talk about Laura. So yeah.
Yeah, because what I love about it is you've brought it back down to a human level, right? So you're not dealing with white lodges, black lodges. You're dealing with like these core characters, you know, the family, her friends, and you're treating this as if this is like a kind of a testimony to Laura Palmer. Because like, I mean, Fire Walk with Me is very operatic, and this movie is, it's much more like almost like a realistic depiction. It's like the, you know, in the first 20 minutes of the pilot, right, we get Pete finding the body and the kids at school and stuff like that. I think that this movie feels like that high school portion of the pilot, like, you know, when the principal's announcing Laura passed away and stuff. It has that we're grounded in realism, but but where the surrealism comes in is these characters, these people did not realize or never thought that they would ever be put into this situation. And here they are having to expose layer upon layer about somebody that they didn't even realize had that many layers to begin with. It's just, it's utterly fascinating. And it takes us, it gives us a different look in Twin Peaks that was always there. It's that you shone light on something that was hinted at but never fully explored, and I feel like in this hour we kind of explore that mood. So I think it's fantastic.
Well, thank you, because it was really the goal for me, because I always, when I wrote something, I like to talk about the character and the human nature of this character, and for me the goal was really talk about who Laura is as a real human being. And when after the movie, when I show it to around, people are like, mostly girls are like, well, I can see myself in Laura. I you know, that happened to me, or that, or my father, or everything. And I'm like, well, thank you, because I really wanted this character to be really grounded in reality, because I think it's fascinating to, in a movie, have something really, really true, really real. And this movie was kind of the goal, to be very authentic, very true, and it can happen to anybody, actually.
And this is why you're being asked to do the master class in Paris, because this is, I personally think, a master class in acting, because we never see you in these characters. I only see Laura, Donna, you know, Audrey, James, Bobby, you know, all the other characters you play. Every single one of them is so different. And that is why this movie works, the major reason why this movie works is your characterization is so spot on. I'm never confused who you are, even though I thought that, you know, Bobby was James about 10 minutes ago.
They're really looking alike. I don't know why, but they really look alike.
No, it's just because we were talking. I just kind of glanced over, but it just, I think that this is, I mean, you're telling a real story about real people, and I feel like that was always your intention, is to kind of ground this thing a little bit more than we had seen in the past.
Yeah.
Like I said, Laura's story in Fire Walk with Me is great, but it's very operatic. It's very grabbing Harold Smith and yellow teeth and screams and cries like every scene. And your Laura, even though she's teary-eyed, she's not doing the Cheryl Lee, like, you know, hysterics. through this movie. So I like the fact that we're seeing sort of the Laura that we got aspects in season 1, where, like, you know, she says, you know, James, you know, your heart belongs to me. We get that little flashback scene. And I feel like that's more of the Laura we're seeing in this movie. Those, instead of the hysterical screaming, crying Laura every 2 seconds. So
I really wanted to represent a very sensitive, broken girl. It was the same with Buffy before. It was represent the life of a broken girl, which she didn't ask any for anything. She didn't ask for it, and I really wanted her to be very true, very, very broken. But she really she wants to get away from her life, find joy and freedom wherever she can, but well, she can't.
and having her in a Dr. Jacoby scene is fantastic. Let's talk about the actor who's a new actor here, because you're playing almost every other character in this movie. Dr. Jacoby, where'd you find this actor?
Actually, he was a friend of the actor that played Lillian Palmer, because we had really hard time finding actors for the movie. And he was like, "Wait, I have this friend. I think he could be good." So I called him and was like, "Well, okay, of course, no worry." And we filmed his shot, because I filmed the shot of Laura alone in my aunt's house with Coline, of course. I was talking to a wall or the camera, and he did it like a month after or something like this. In my house, we made a little background especially for the character, and it was nice. It was shot in like what 20 minutes something, and it was great.
Well, you color timed it beautifully for having to be a month apart. So
thank you.
Now, what about this? Here we have sort of a reenactment of Donna looking, you know, seeing Laura in the Fire Walk with Me bars scene here. But it's kind of cool because she's not in the bar, she's looking through the window. That's a very nice touch. I really like that, because a lot of Twin Peaks is that voyeuristic thing, you know. So I like it. She's looking through the window.
There's a lot of scene where you don't see the character together because it was impossible, because it was me playing the same character, and we shot the every shot of Donna like in, I don't know, April, and every shot of Laura with extras month later. So we couldn't, most of the time we couldn't have the character in the same room. So that's why she was looking through a window.
And the reason why you shot these characters so far apart was it was mostly a necessity, because you had to change your hair, you had to, you know, go through a lot of physical changes to play each role. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about that?
It wasn't very complicated, because I'm always, I love it actually. I love shaping my body for a character. I love it. So for me, being platinum blonde for a year, even if my hair fall out, it's no worry. But sometimes it's hard when I have two characters in one scene, because I have to change lenses, and my eyes hate lenses. So this is actually one of the hardest part. I remember when I was playing Bobby, the lenses destroyed my eyes. It was very hard to play, especially in the interview, my eyes are red, and it was horrible.
Now here we have Laura in a church, and what's interesting, because Fire Walk with Me has definitely, you know, Catholic overtones here. You just went all out and you just put her in a church, which I love this aspect, because I really do think that religion does play a role in Twin Peaks, even if it's not spelled out. There's always characters going to church, coming back from church. Obviously, the angel in Fire Walk with Me. Where did this church scene come from that leads us into what is probably the most spectacular editing of the entire piece, which is the sort of Laura going wild with the fireworks and everything. But it doesn't just explode into that. It kind of starts up with the church. So walk us through that. The you know, where did the church scene come from?
I think before we can pause this moment, because I would have little things to say about this scene.
All right, I'm paused right now.
Okay. So the church, for me, I'm not Catholic, I'm an atheist, but for me, a church is a place of complete peace, complete surrender. And there's this enormous cathedral church in Nantes, which is the biggest church in Nantes. And I wanted Laura to come in a place being free, where she can be completely I don't know, free and peaceful. And I was, for me, a church really represents that. And she's also, I wanted to take the theme with the angel that we had in Firework with me. So I thought, well, a church is perfect for it. And we knew that there were statues of angel in the church. So we were like, okay, we're going to shot a little shot of the angel. And I wanted, and I think this scene for me, Laura is in the church. It's in her head. It didn't happen like the scene after with the firework and the bikers. None of this happened. It's all in her head. But I really wanted to start this, the firework and the biker scene, being peaceful, because for her, this is peace. This is freedom. This is liberty, and that's what actually I put Ride by Lana Del Rey, because we are really inspired by the work of Lana Del Rey, especially this song and the video clip that she did, the 10-minute film she made of Ride. And for me, all of this, seeing the church, firework, bikers, church, everything, it's the peace, freedom, the hope. It's the cherry on the top of the cake.
Well, and also it's the one display of fire that we've never seen in Twin Peaks before, which is fireworks. So
yes.
that's kind of cool.
That was also the goal.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add before we continue on, or?
Yes.
Well, go ahead.
The fireworks were shot on the 14th of July. There were hundreds of people, and Coline was like, well, you have to dance, honey, and was like, okay, and people looked at me like a complete nuts. That's all.
So that wasn't a green screen effect. That was literally you dancing in front of fireworks.
Yeah. It's we actually there's two shots of the real fireworks when I do this movement, and the one when Laura is turning on herself. The other one Coline shot a lot of the fireworks alone. I made a little montage and we projected on a normal screen, and we shot other scenes because we didn't have enough of the real fireworks. But
gotcha.
We didn't shot anything.
I was going to say, that's pretty amazing if you were just dancing the whole time and she was filming you in front of the fireworks.
Yeah, because we hadn't any light with the real fireworks, so it was like we haven't any damn.
But in order not to get your shadow on the screen, were you back projecting it then?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
I don't remember.
We had two lights.
We had two lights on the side, which raised my shadow on the back.
And other contrasted colors like blue
and red,
pink,
or
yeah.
The colors of on Laura was made by the lights on the side, not the fireworks projection.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's continue on, because I'm sure we'll have lots more to talk about. So I'm hitting play again. I like these abrupt cuts to black. When the motorcyclists approach and you have those like split frame edits and stuff. It's just fantastic. I mean, this obviously, this scene is one of those scenes that either gets edited the quickest or takes the longest to edit. Where was, I mean, because there's a lot of love and attention to this scene. Was this the longest scene to edit, or did you just, kind of know what you were doing with this scene, and so it just came across really fast?
I sat on a Saturday morning at 8 a.m. I finished it on the Sunday very late. But in 2 days, I was completely in the scene. I didn't do anything else. I don't think I eaten a lot, which was okay. But no, it was, I remember starting it. I had to finish it. And I remember on the Saturday night, I can go to sleep. I have to finish it. But well, I had to sleep, obviously.
Yeah, but you can't sleep. You can't. I mean, listen, as someone who edits themselves, when you're in the zone, you can't sleep because you're so jazzed by what you're doing. I mean, the longest editing I've ever done is 18 hours straight. I mean, it's just, and by that time you're just exhausted and you're probably got a cold the next day.
Yeah.
because you're, I mean, even though people may think, oh, it's just editing, you are with a sequence like this, in order to convey the emotion, because you're doing all these great shots and you're acting spot on, but to convey the emotion through editing, because you're conveying the same sense that Laura's feeling through your edits, that is another performance you're giving, just editing. people may not realize it, but that's what you're doing. You are giving another performance, putting the sequence together. So to go a long period of time editing a sequence like this means that you are embodying this, not only these characters, but the whole film for long periods of time. And it just, it can be a very overwhelming experience just editing something like this. So yeah. I can imagine for you, it was just like, you know, because it's not just this footage. I mean, you probably were poring over lots of other shots that you didn't use.
Yeah, lots.
Right. So it's not like, oh, we just, you know, shot this blip and this blip. I mean, you shot a ton of stuff, and then you had to find the right stuff and to know. I mean, was this? I'm assuming you shot all this footage, and then you found the scene in the editing room, right? You didn't storyboard every single shot of this. Yeah. Yes. But the shots do cut together and dissolve together so wonderfully that obviously you're you know, the way you were thinking about the scene, it came together because you were in the zone. You know. Yeah.
Thank you. Could we pause one last time?
Yeah. So I have Laura crying in the church right now. But go ahead.
Perfect. Like us. There were a lot of things in this scene, also in the fireworks scene, because the music that you can hear is by Tolo. WTF Love is a music that I'm completely fascinated. And the first time I heard it, I was like, this is completely Laura. This is the way for me, the way she pursued, the way she see love. So you can hear it the first time you see Laura in the movie. The second time where she's in front of the pool, in this scene you can hear the music completely. And at the end, Laura sing it, and it's this music for me is a representation of hope for Laura. So editing the scene with this music was very, I don't know, kind of easy, because I remember I was working on the side, and at my work I could listen to music, which was very great. So, and I remember for 2 days I was listening to this song on repeat for like 10 hours. I'm insane, I know. But I remember, and I edited it the weekend after, and the scene built itself in my head. So it was like I knew where it was going on. And another thing, I'd like to thank the two actresses which are on the sex scene with Laura, which has two friends of mine, which were amazing, because when we came on the set, it was very, very complicated to organize everything. And they didn't know what they were going to expect. I knew I could ask them right on time. I was like, oh, well, we have to shout that. And it was like, okay, well, you didn't tell us, and they did a tremendous job. They're completely in the scene. They were very professional, which they aren't. They aren't actors, they aren't model or anything, and they were amazing. And I think you can see it on camera. They're really perfect. One other thing, I almost died on the bike because it was very, very cold, and I spent like 2 hours on the bike, and it was very cold. I was completely freezing, and when Coline drove me back home, I collapsed on the floor, and I couldn't stand for like 10 minutes. So she was scared. Well, I wake up and eventually remove makeup and get to sleep, but I was really scared. And the last thing, it was really important for me to have the teacher on this scene, because we saw him at the beginning, like something not really important. He has a really important piece. We can see him a lot in this scene, and he's a fantasy, because after that you can see him in class with Laura, and you realize it's all a fantasy, and what came after with him is very different from this fantasy. I don't know if that's
right. Are you ready to continue?
Yeah.
All right, let's hit play. So we have I love these shots of Laura crying in the church, but then to cut straight to Donna, and then back to the class, and it's just, you found the right characters to cut to, because I think if it had cut to Bobby in that moment, I think it would have been a completely different thing. To go from Laura crying to Donna connects them, because Donna's supposed to be her best friend, always there for her, and she's not there for her because she's not quite aware of what's entirely going on with Laura. So there's some friend guilt there.
Exactly.
And I think that you just found the right characters to always cut to not only continue your story, but every time you cut to another character, it helps illuminate not only their relationship with Laura, but also Laura's lack of relationship with them.
And for me, Donna she was, during the whole movie, she was the one, I remember, well, who can talk about Laura about this? And it was always, well, Donna, because she's the one that is the most connected with Laura on the friendship level. So it was really normal. And in the scene where Donna speak about the parents, speak about Laura's relationship with Leland and stuff, I wanted to add James once, because I think he knew something was going on. He really loved Laura, but he cannot talk about it. He can't say a word, but Donna is the one that can talk about it.
So here we have a sort of reenactment of the scene of Fire Walk with Me with the family. But what's great about it is, you know, as Twin Peaks fans, we've already seen this scene.
Yeah.
So to break it up with interviews, you know, with Donna and then have different shots and stuff. I love the fact that you're giving us a scene we've seen before, and yet you're giving it to us in a new way, so that it doesn't feel like we're just seeing a fan trying to reenact their favorite scenes from Fire Walk with Me. It's you give a different perspective on it, and I think it's really good, because it's because you're telling it from Donna's point of view, even though Donna wasn't there, you know. So it's kind of cool.
And I thought it wouldn't be interesting to have just the diner scene with, everybody know. I think it would be interesting to, as a viewer, you can see what was really going on in this family, but you can also see what Donna know, and that's the whole drama. That's, she didn't know anything. She didn't know the horror. She didn't know the relationship with Leland, and that's what I thought would be interesting to see.
Completely. And I just think I'm trying to think of something else to say rather than just praising you guys over and over again. But this is I think this is an overwhelming experience for a lot of people, because I think a lot of people hear, you know, Twin Peaks fan film, and this is something that I, you know, struggle with my own creation, is that when you say Twin Peaks fan film, people have this perception, this idea of what a fan film is. And I think that what you did was, you know, for obvious reasons, you have to say Twin Peaks fan film, because it's not Lynch and Frost, it's not Showtime, it's not CBS, it's not ABC, it's you know, it is an independent work. And yet when you see it, you made a real film that is a tribute to this wonderful show and series that we all adore and love. And I think that you really raised the bar for what a fan film, you know, is, because this isn't like, you know, I've always make jokes of, you know, a typical Twin Peaks fan film would be, you know, somebody pretending to be Audrey in the Black Lodge, just swaying back and forth while you have Bad Lamentia music playing. You actually, you know, if Twin Peaks did not exist, if Fire Walk with Me did not exist, and this was just made as an independent film with original characters that you created, this film alone stands on its own alone, you know. And so that's why I say you made a real film that just happens to exist in the Twin Peaks universe.
That was also one of the goals, I remember. But when we were shooting it, we could be months without talking about Twin Peaks. We were focused on the character we were creating, and sometimes it wasn't the Laura of David Lynch or Twin Peaks. It was our character that we wanted to respect and have the story about. And there's a lot of people that we know that don't know Twin Peaks, and we were like, well, you can watch the show. Obviously, it's a masterpiece, but you can watch it as something completely different, not related to Twin Peaks, which was something that we wanted to do. Also, it can be watched as a movie alone, without knowing Twin Peaks.
I love the fact that you have the chessboard here, and and here we have you in old age makeup here.
Yeah, made by Coline. Well, this grandma was for my demo reel, because I was like, well, do you think I could play a grandma? And Well, we can try to make it happen. So it was actually, and it was really, really fun to play.
So if you weren't able to pull the grandma off, you would have just tried to find another actor to do that side of the scene.
Yeah, we had to find, because we thought for a minute to cast a grandma for the role, but no grandma can speak English and play in France. So so we had to do, because we couldn't do hand makeup, so we asked a 90-year-old grandma in plain summer heat to do the scene with the hands. She was really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I love these nature shots with the moon and the lakes and the mountains. It's just so beautiful, and you really convey that Twin Peaks mood without obviously being in Twin Peaks, which is outstanding.
I remember with this shot, we really wanted to, because we loved nature and mountains, so we really wanted to have a connection with nature before starting the horror of the final act.
Right.
And we have Laura taking cocaine again. And also, it was, for me, it was important to not see a whole lot of, well, she's drugged. But we had to put, I remember 2 times where she takes cocaine, third in the bar, but it was important to have this side of her story.
Well, of course, because you can't deny that aspect. It did play a role. It's just, I think that you're able to give us different sides of what we had already seen. And I almost feel like this is Twin Peaks canon in a way, because I always feel like Fire Walk with Me, that's not the whole story. I mean, that's what they could fit in 2 hours and 15 minutes, but it's clear when you watch season 1 that Laura was doing all types of things. She was helping Josie with her English and that type of thing that we never got to see. So I feel like these are just other things that we didn't get to see during that time. And I know we talked about this last time. I don't know if it was recorded or not, but
about Josie, yeah.
No, what I wanted to bring up was at the time of you guys making this, you refused to watch season 3 until you were done, which is why there are no season 3 references in this film, which is honestly probably the best thing that you could have done, because otherwise I think you would have felt the need to add the gold ball and all this stuff, and this keeps it back grounded into season 1 vibe.
I remember when season 3 came up. Well, I knew when we were before shooting, we knew that they had a season 3. We heard about Twin Peaks and everything, but it was also, I didn't want it to watch Twin Peaks season 3, because for me, when I wrote this film and when we were shooting this film, it's not about Twin Peaks. It's just about Laura. For me, it's about Laura. It's about the character of Laura, and not necessarily about Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks come after. I wanted to pay respect to the character before the TV show. The TV show was obviously a huge part of it, and I remember season 3, I was like, no, the film I want to do is about Laura, about the teenage girl that she is, and not about the show, and about the relationship that she have and everything. So season 3 for me wasn't. I couldn't watch it while shooting the film.
I think it would have thrown you off in terms of maybe. No, I mean, yeah, you talked about you watched it afterwards.
Yeah.
But I think if you'd watched it at the time, I think you would have felt compelled to tweak this or do this, and I think that you knew what you were doing beforehand. Now, what about this? You have the complete reenactment here of the scene between Laura and James from Fire Walk with Me that he talks about in the pilot with Donna. Why include this? I mean, obviously it's a big moment, and you pretty much shoot it identical to the way it's done in Fire Walk with Me in terms of just tight close-ups on at night. It's a little bit more introspective, I would say. But I mean, I think it's a really great scene. I think it may throw some people because it is your film goes so far to be its own thing that when it goes to something that is something we've seen before, it's a little startling. So take us through that process.
I don't know. For me, it was always, I was always going to make this scene because I think it's the conclusion of Laura. I think watching Fire Walk with Me was her cut, and after, well, there's obviously the angel scene, but this scene was the last time she could speak. So, and writing this scene, I also wanted to introduce her trauma, which is the fact that she's raped by her father, and the song WTF Love Is. And I wanted this scene to be the end, maybe, of Laura talking, the last time she could express herself, the last time you see her crying her eyes out. And also, I love performances, actor performances. So I remember watching Charly in this scene; it was amazing. And when I was writing it, I really wanted to create a scene where I could, as an actor, try to have a compelling, complex interpretation of a scene. And this scene was the one where I could play Laura and do tons of things with emotions, tears, and with James. So I think this scene was the one right at the beginning where I was like, I'm gonna do it not like the original, obviously, because it's not the same thing. It's the same dialogue. We take some, we added some, we mixed, but yeah, this scene was always there.
And really, you did it for the sake of the performance,
yeah,
just as an actor. So.
Yeah, I really wanted to do it just because I love playing. This was one of my favorite scenes to shoot as Laura.
And what about your stand-in here? Because when you're cutting back to James, obviously it's not you in the wig, right?
Well, it's one. He played Laura and James, and for James he had the same hair as me, and we put it. He put the Laura's wig. So, but when I was playing the final shot of Laura, when you can see Laura crying, I was talking to the air. Actually, there was no one in front of me. I had to imagine me the week before as James talking to myself. It's a complicated process.
No, but like I said, it's a testament to both your talents that you're able to pull this off. And then when you cut back to James, you're just completely in tears. I understand crying is your thing. You love doing this.
Yeah.
But it is painful to look at in terms of, because you really feel like the grief.
Well, and I remember when I was playing James, I shot the whole interrogation in like, it was 12 minutes.
For James, yeah.
For James,
yeah.
Donna was 14, James was 12, and at the end, I was a wreck. I was really crying my eyes out, and we cut a thing because I was crying too much. And he said, well, I love Laura. I never really said it to her, and I don't know if she knew it, but I had to cut because I remember I had trouble speaking because tears were in my throat, and it was too much emotion to contain in my body.
And one thing I really love is this reenactment of the train car sequence, because look, you could have easily gone overboard in terms of violence, in terms of the nasty grisliness of it, and I think you really showed a lot of restraint here, and it's very effective, because you show such restraint. And I just want to praise you for giving us, a real horrific, scene, but done tastefully.
Thank you.
We didn't want to attack the viewer, actually. That's why we kept it a little more simple and PG-13.
PG-13, yes. And it was like the rape scene. I didn't want to shock any of my viewers. I really want to respect my viewers. Not that gore or horror scene is disrespectful, no. But I don't want my viewer to be attacked. I wanted to be really peaceful, and like at the end, Laura is peaceful, and I really wanted this movie for Laura to be not to shock anybody and to stay calm, even if it's a horrible story.
Right, and here we have sort of the concluding moments, the kind of the wrap ups here.
The guilt, yes.
Yeah, and I think just bringing back all the characters. Some are acknowledging this, some are in sort of denial about this happening, but they're all not going to be okay. They're all going to remember. It's like that.
Yeah.
That line in season 3 where Bobby Briggs says, brings back some memories. They're already kind of having that you know, they're already experiencing that at this moment, and it's only going to get worse for them. I'm reminded of like Amy Irving at the end of Carrie, where you're just like, this character is just going to be haunted for the rest of her life.
And she will be.
Yeah. And here we have you doing the picnic scene, which is fun. I like how you have the SP taking us back to 1989 technology here.
Yeah, and I really wanted this scene to be in that order: picnic scene and the Laura's body, because the first time you saw Laura in Twin Peaks is her body, and the second time I think it's this scene. So I wanted to end our Laura with this, but of course there's the angel scene at the end. But for me, it's Laura's spirit. And I really wanted to end our film with the first shot of the TV show Twin Peaks.
Right. Now, did you shoot this on the Panasonic camera too, and this added the graininess to it, or did you shoot that with a different camera? Yeah.
No, it was the same camera, and all the grain was added in post-prod.
We wanted it to be perfect, so we thought about changing camera, but we were like, well, maybe it's not going to work. So we preferred to shot it in high quality and
reduce the quality instead of like improve something that wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
I was just watching it. It just dawned on me that it would have been cool if you guys had like the black bars on the side to do like the 1:3 aspect ratio for the.
We actually released the fourth, this format on our YouTube channel, like the square
with
format.
The black here, yeah.
And we actually tried to put it this way in the movie, but it was weird just going from
full-size screen to a smaller one. It was really weird, and it didn't work out at all. So that's why
we tried it, but it didn't work out in the end.
Well, then that's how it happens. You know, you got to try things out and see how it is. Now, this was a scene that actually we talked about last time off camera, because I said because the movie begins with the morgue light going on, and then it goes off, and then we get this scene. And I said I think that it would have been cool if the morgue light went out, and then that was the end of the film. And you said no, I really like this kind of epilogue. So, but you said it was important to you. So tell us why going an extra couple minutes here with this epilogue was meaningful to you.
This is the scene that made me start everything. So I had to do it. And this scene for me it's not just for me. It's for Laura. I did it for Laura because watching the movie Firewalk with Me, when I saw this scene, I was like, she deserved it, and that's why I did the film, because I wanted to give her this moment, once again, this moment of freedom. So this film is purely for the character, and after it is for me, and after it is for the viewer. First, it's for Laura. I wanted to give her this moment. She deserved it.
I gotta tell you, the first time I was watching it, I kept thinking the white horse was going to make another appearance. I love the fact that you went out of your way to get this like white horse for like 3 seconds of your movie, and you said it was like really hard to get the horse, but it's so incredible that you went to that level of detail for just a few seconds of your film. So
thank you. We wanted it to be very detailed and very precise and clean, and like a real movie.
No, it definitely is a real film. And here's all your credits here, and I like how it says Charly Gautier as Donna Hayward, James Hurley. Well, now, what a lot of people may not know is this was pretty much a 2-person crew. It was just the two of you. Maybe somebody helped you out with, moving something here and there, but it was primarily you two the whole time. And I love that kind of, filmmaking, because it's, that people are doing it because they have so much love and passion in their hearts.
We made it out of passion and love.
Yeah, this movie, I don't think there's anybody that can deny watching this that you guys didn't have passion and love, flowing through your veins, because you don't make something like this, a movie you put so much of your time in. I mean, we're talking almost 2 years of your life making this film. You can't make a penny on it. You put a lot of money into it. Again, you can't make a return on it. And yet you still made it. So that's incredible. I think you guys need to be, really commended. I think people who make these type of fan films, when you make them this well, it's because there's nothing but love in their hearts. So now we're getting sort of behind the scenes, as you will, of you doing one of the Johnny Horn scene?
That was the hardest day. I was shooting 5 characters a day. It was very hard.
Yeah, I would have
being in 5 different characters,
yeah.
especially Johnny and Sylvia that I didn't know and never played before. It was very hard.
Now, your original cut was close to 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an extra let's see, hour and 40 minutes that we haven't seen of your film. Are you going to release a deleted scenes section, or did those not get included because they didn't work for whatever reason?
We released one scene yet before the release of the movie, which is in a bathroom and everybody talks about Laura. But that's all you're going to see because we are not very proud, I think, of the other scene. That's why we cut it, and it didn't add anything more to the film. It's not. It doesn't bring anything more interesting.
Not valuable enough.
Yeah. So I don't think it's interesting for the. It's not even interesting for us to see. So
I mean, your film right now is about 57 minutes long with this behind the scenes footage. Think about that, people. Could you cut out an hour and a half of your movie? That, I mean, and look how hard it was just to make this. Charlie's going back and forth between different characters. Do you have the willpower to say an hour and a half of this goodbye? That's a very hard thing. I think a lot of filmmakers struggle with that, and yet you chopped out another movie and a half.
Yeah, but
you got to think about the story and the viewer before yourself.
Yeah. And there were a lot of shots that it was like, well, I want to put it, but it was so hard. And there scene that I almost died again, and that never made it to the cut. But you know, like you said, it's about the story. First, it's about Laura. Is it interesting for her story? After, is it interesting for the movie, for how the story is telling? After, is it interesting for the viewers? Because I don't want to waste the viewers' time. So, no. Well, it had to be cut down.
All right, everybody. Well, there it is. There is the commentary, at least for this channel, for the Laura Palmer Twin Peaks fan film. I know Charlie and Coline are going to be doing their own commentary on their YouTube channel at some point in the future. So let people know where they can find you on the internet and tell them about your YouTube channel and your Instagram and all that stuff.
Well, you can find us on YouTube, Laura Palmer Fan Film, and on all our social media, we are Laura Palmer Fan Film, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And you can find us on the description box on our YouTube channel. So everything is linked down.
Well, thank you again for doing this with me. I really appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Really appreciate it. You know how to find me. Check the show notes below. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're now on Instagram. So anyway, hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Take care. We will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.